Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning and welcome to another Good Morning Grief Devotion. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. So happy and excited to have this wonderful opportunity to come to you today to lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural, normal, and necessary response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is what you reveal on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. And that's why we shout good morning, because morning is a good thing. Grateful, so thankful for each and every one of you being here today as we lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. Today, my brothers and sisters, is day 204. Thank y'all for coming back for some more. We're going to talk about I'm mourning so much more than the loss of the physical presence of the person who died. I am mourning so much more than the loss of the physical presence of the person who died. Let's talk about it, y'all. Yes, of course, I'm sad that I can no longer see, touch, and talk with the person who died, but I'm finding that I've lost so much more. I've lost so much more. I've lost parts of myself. I may have lost a sense of security and stability in my life. I've lost essential pieces of my future. I've lost the capacity to feel carefree and maybe experience joy. Y'all, these are a lot of times what people will call secondary losses. That the primary loss is the person that died. The primary loss is, the thing that happened, the loss of whatever it is that you lost. That is the primary loss. And a lot of times we focus on the primary loss, the person that died, but attached to the primary loss are secondary losses, right? There are secondary losses, and for so many people, you can understand this and you can relate to this. Secondary losses are things that were attached to that person, right? Sometimes somebody just didn't lose a husband, they lost a chef, right? Because perhaps he loved to do the cooking, right? You didn't lose a wife, didn't just lose a wife, that's the primary loss, but secondary, you lost she ran the household, or she organized, or she paid the bills, or she was just good with finances. You lost your financial advisor, right? You just didn't lose a brother or sister, you lost a friend, right? You just didn't lose a spouse, you lost the trash taker outer. You lost the mechanic. He fixed the cars. He cut the grass, right? You lost not just the person, but everything that person, every role that they played, everything that they did. You lost that as well. There are secondary losses that come with primary losses, right? Say if you have an only child and that you lose that child. Not only did you lose that child, but now you may have even lost the opportunity to be a grandmother or a grandfather, because that was your only hope, right? That's a secondary loss that stems from the primary loss. So a lot of times when it comes to, and these are things that we don't think, well, I don't know if we've ever identified them as secondary losses, but secondary losses are attached to the primary loss. So you're not just mourning the physical presence of the person that died. There are secondary losses that come with it. What are some of the secondary losses that you've lost, right? I want y'all to put it in the chat. What are some of the secondary losses that you lost? I love the direction that the devotional goes, because it says, I've lost parts of myself. Not only did I lose this individual, but guess what? I lost parts of myself, right? I lost parts of myself. I may have lost the sense of security and stability in my life. I lost some security. I lost some stability, right? My best friend Marlon died. That was my homie. That was my traveling buddy. We would travel, families. That was the person I could talk to. I could call up in a minute, and I could say whatever I want to say without no judgment, this, that, and the other. I could talk crazy. I could talk reckless. I could be myself, because that's what I had in him. I could keep it real, right? I lost that. I didn't just lose the best friend. I lost when Pops died. I lost my advisor, right? I could go to and I could talk to, a safe place, right? And I have other ones, my mom and I got some others, but did lose a safe place. When my sister died, right, I lost a safe place. My sister, that was my sibling, right? she was she was my friend, right? It's funny, and I tell the story. Well, I don't know if I told the story before, but when I was interested in Lady Tamika before, when I first seen her, she started coming to an old church we used to go to. My sister, she was the investigative one. I said, investigate. Go find out what you can find out, right? She was the lead detective. She was the investigator. She went to do some undercover work for me, right? When she died, I lost that. I lost the individual I could connect with, I could talk to that would do this investigative reporting, right? So there are secondary losses that come with the primary loss. You just didn't lose the physical presence of the person that died, but you had some secondary losses as well. What are some of the secondary losses that you can identify that you lost? Drop it in the chat. I'm going to get to it in a minute. I lost parts of myself. I may have lost a sense of security and stability. I've lost essential pieces of my future. I've lost the capacity to feel carefree and maybe experience joy. Y'all, there are secondary losses. Have y'all identified? I lost part of myself with my husband. Yep. Thank you, Felicia Henderson. Nikisha says I lost my cooking partner, my advisor, my wisdom, right? Right? The primary loss was her mom, but also this was her cooking buddy. They get in the kitchen and cook together. Her advisor, right? Her wisdom, right? That's how it is. My mom. I'm a call. I call me like, yo, when you make them yams? How many cups of sugar would you do? How you do that again? The dressing. What do you put? How? Hey, when you do what? How long? Hey, mama, what's the what? So I told you need to write them recipes down, right? But these are the things we lost. Advisor, wisdom, right? Carmen Kennedy says lost her hype man, her advisor, her BFF, and much more. Right? There are people that will hype you up. Sometimes you do stuff nobody hypes you up like this person, right? And so, my muse, my conscience, right? So that there's so many secondary losses that come with it. Stacia says my confidant, my advisor, my shopping partner, my prayer warrior, right? You would call her, she would pray. Let's go shopping together. Shopping don't seem like it's the same, right? Companionship and relationships. There are so many secondary losses. So it's just not the loss of the person, the physical person, it's the secondary losses that come with it as well. Check this out, y'all. This loss has changed so many aspects of my life, and I must acknowledge and mourn all of them. Listen to what I'm saying. The loss has changed so many aspects of your life, and this is the key. You got to acknowledge and mourn all of them. Sometimes it's so complicated, we just see ourselves losing the physical person, but we really haven't pulled back the layers to understand not only did I lose the person, but I also have some secondary losses. You have to acknowledge them. You got to mourn them. This is what helps you to navigate through the process. I would even encourage you if I made this real practical, right? I would even write down secondary losses, and I would begin to list every secondary loss that has occurred in losing this person. And when you list them, right, you're acknowledging them, and then you go through the process of mourning them, right? Right? Grief is what you feel, mourning is how you reveal, right? Don't suppress it, express it. Don't ignore, explore. Mourn it, talk about it, express. What do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Talk about it. How does it feel to lose a cooking buddy? Talk about it. How you gonna go forward? What you gonna do? Right? What's gonna happen? Right? I was talking to somebody. They were talking about they went through a divorce and they were cooking. They would cook with their significant other, and they said, "Yo, I ain't even cooked nothing. in the last whatever 6 months or whatever. I ain't is that crazy? Like I've just really been eating out because it brings back too many memories, right? I'm like, nah, it's not crazy at all. Because you've dealt with that loss. Not only did you lose a spouse, even if it was through divorce, you lost a cooking partner, you lost a cooking buddy, right? Acknowledge that. Not only do you acknowledge that, but now you mourn it, right? You mourn it, you reveal what you feel, you talk about it. That's how you begin to heal, to navigate through it. So I would encourage you, even take a piece of paper, write down secondary losses. Write what are the secondary, write the person's name at the top, primary loss. Now write everything that comes along with it. What are those secondary losses? Acknowledge it and mourn it. That's how you deal with it. You acknowledge it and you mourn them. Here's the final thought, y'all. I must not only mourn the death, but also the ripple effect of losses that I am encountering. It's not just mourning the death, but it's also mourning the ripple effect of losses that you have encountered in losing this particular individual. Today is day 204. Thank y'all for coming back for some more. I'm mourning so much more than the loss of the physical presence of the person who died. Holla at your boy one time for the one time. If you got questions, comments, anything that you would like to share, I'm here for it all. My mom recipes, yes. And I know they were probably delicious when my husband make them homemade sweet potato pies and them homemade dressing he cooked for the Air Force. I love it. These are all the things that we deal with. And it's okay. You got to go through the process, right? You got to go through the process. So acknowledge it, mourn it. Acknowledge it, mourn it. Acknowledge it, mourn it. Acknowledge it, and mourn it. That's what we got to do. No questions coming through. No questions coming through. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. I hope and pray y'all have a marvelous Monday and a wonderful week. Remember, you didn't just lose the presence of the physical person that died. There's secondary losses that come with it. Acknowledge them and mourn them. Continue to take small steps. It's going to lead you to great distances. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. Have a marvelous Monday in Jesus' name. Let's go.